Yeah, so obviously Ring Generals took over Survivor Series. We attended the show, just Survivor Series. We didn't go to NXT, we didn't go to Raw or SmackDown or anything like that. But Survivor Series, we definitely were in attendance, solid seats, along with my brother Chase.
Protege.
Shout out to the protege.
Absolutely. We will be. You'll probably see this in the the aftermath of this podcast, is editing and stuff like that. But we took some videos. We did some stupid stuff there and stuff like that, and we got to meet some great people, including Aaron Rift, Jeff Meacham, the guys from
City Wrestling Radio.
Yep, exactly.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, shout outs to them.
Absolutely.
Shout outs to the No DQ Galaxy.
100%. Yeah, we met a lot of
The
people.
homie Cindy G.
Absolutely, and they were all really cool too. And
Shout outs to Interstate Kyle, by the way, with the McDonald's coupons. I went that night and got me some.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Man, my girlfriend and I went out the next night, and we were in LA. We went to McDonald's. And I drove the different car, so I didn't have it.
Oh, crap.
I was like, man, I would have had free fries and all this stuff.
They expired on that Sunday.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
Okay, well, it wouldn't matter. That
so you would
makes
have
me-
just been
That makes me
embarrassed.
feel a
That makes
little
sense.
better because I missed the McDonald's coupons and I missed Rams Chiefs. So, nonetheless,
Yeah, you should feel bad about the Rams Chiefs.
I
man.
did, and the guys on the Cover 2 podcast made me feel bad about it. But nonetheless, we attended Survivor Series. I thought the show was pretty good. I was thoroughly entertained. I was into it. I had a couple beers. And my brother enjoyed it. I think you guys enjoyed it. Besides the fact that SmackDown got their ass kicked. But
I enjoyed it, but looking back on it, man, it's just booking that confuses me. It just doesn't make any sense with the Charlotte Flair situation. I was confused. I was like, everybody's cheering. I'm just like, I don't know what the heck to do.
I mean, the thing is that, and I know I talked to you guys about it as soon as we were on our way back home. There was a lot of mixed feelings about it, but also at the same time, there were a lot of last minute changes. I mean, I think as soon as we got into the building, wasn't there like a segment that happened backstage where
Yeah, it
the
was
Iconics,
on the pre-show.
Yeah, the Iconics got, or who, I don't know who it was, but they got ambushed.
Natalia, Ruby Riott, and them had something go down
Yeah.
and enabled Sasha Banks and Bayley, who were originally off the Survivor Series team, to come on the Survivor
yeah,
Series
which made the match a little better. Having Bailey and Sasha, having
Yeah.
some faces on that team. There was literally no baby faces.
It can make sense. It makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
As far as the main event goes, I thought it was a pretty good match. I just thought that I didn't want the match to be just like one-sided with Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar, but we'll probably talk more about that a little bit later, right? Or right now? You wanna
talk about right
Let's
now?
talk about it right now.
Yeah, I
and we
mean-
could talk about how crappy Raw was last night.
I really had no interest in watching it, to be honest. There was a movie passing by, so I just watched it.
You watched Rush Hour.
Rush Hour, that's right.
And like I said on Instagram Live, it's one of the few movies where the black guy does not die in
That
the
is
end.
true.
So I endorse that movie.
Yeah,
The black guy
I
doesn't
love
die.
that movie.
A lot of Chinese people, though. A lot of Chinese people die in that movie. It's unfortunate for the Chinese
It's
population.
very unfortunate, but the black population's taking a lot of losses ourselves.
Well, we all love Jackie Chan, right? We all love Jackie Chan.
Shout out to Jackie Chan, man.
Shout out to Chris Tucker, man.
Chris
One of the
Tucker.
best comedians ever that hasn't done much. Right? Like he kind of just
He's
sat
like
on his
low
money.
key, yeah.
He sat on his money. And,
Oh yeah, that is true. That is
Yeah.
true. He got saved though.
But
He
one
got
of
saved.
one of the funniest guys ever, Chris
yeah.
Tucker, low key. But Chris Tucker was not in Survivor Series. So
No,
we
he
probably
wasn't.
He was
should
not
start-
at Survivor
No.
Series.
That would have been cool, though.
No.
Although
But
there
what-
was.
I heard.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second because I think that's going to be a segment for a little bit later.
yeah,
one
that's
of
true.
one of our
We'll
segments.
build it up.
Yeah, one of our segments that usually features some a little bit of ranting, maybe might be on
I didn't
a
expect
former
that.
WWE superstar.
I didn't
that
expect it, but-
they made an appearance at the
Yeah.
show.
And also had one of the crappiest performances I have ever seen in a concert venue ever.
Yeah,
Wait,
but
you-
we're not going to mention his name. We're not going to mention
I
his
think
name.
Carl Lewis did a better job than him singing the national anthem.
Yeah, I think Big Ass would have done better. And that's a
Big
hint.
ass.
Big nipple?
Big nipple. Yeah, big nipples.
Allegedly.
No, is it allegedly? It's allegedly that Big Cass got big nipples.
I
That's
mean,
what
I
we're
don't know.
talking about.
There's a picture right there. You judge it for yourself.
Yeah, Ryan sends us this stuff. RKJ man, excuse me, sends us this stupid stuff on Instagram of either women in the business or guys
A
with
lot
big
of them
nipples or
out
some weird shit like that.
I just send things that just make me entertained.
Yeah,
okay, on social
absolutely.
media. If it entertains me, it's just like anybody else. You send stuff to your friends that is entertaining to you in social
I
media.
bet.
Okay.
So, what was your guys' speaking of entertaining? What was your most entertaining moment of Survivor Series?
Well,
wow.
for me, seeing Brock Lesnar the first time, that's to me that's more of a personal thing because I've never seen Brock, but and I was telling this to my friend who's also a Braun Strowman fan. Shouts to you, Sal, and I know you're talking. Keep on deadlifting.
That's insider information.
That's
right
way
there.
too insider.
No, he listens to the podcast, so
Hey man,
yeah.
shout outs to what's his name, Sal?
Sal.
Shout out to Sal.
Shout outs to Sal.
He's a fan of Braun Strowman and also the Road Warriors. So yeah, oh yeah,
Old fashioned wrestling fan right there.
yeah. So I told him more about Braun Strowman because he was more fascinated about seeing Braun Strowman. I said, oh yeah, man, like it's one thing seeing Braun Strowman on TV, but the other seeing him in person.
You mean
yeah.
Brock Lesnar? Or Braun Strowman?
Both.
Oh, okay,
both
okay,
guys.
gotcha.
Both guys. Seeing that and also the match itself, I kind of wish it could have been a little bit better, but I think I was a little bit satisfied over the ending. I was just a little bit worried about Daniel Bryan's neck.
Yeah.
Because-
He almost got killed. One
Yeah.
thing. I
First
literally,
one, first
I
one.
literally said, "Oh my God, you're gonna kill that man." He literally slammed on the back of his neck or head area, and I was just like, I literally screeched.
Well, but the thing with him, and I actually heard before the show that Lesnar had heat for dropping people on their necks because he dropped one of the Singh brothers on
Yeah.
their necks a while back.
but nobody's gonna do anything. That's
Well,
what makes
no,
it real
no,
when he
the-
throws people around.
That's
on
true.
Their heads.
But Daniel Bryan it was concussions. It wasn't a neck issue. So if he broke his neck, for example, that would be a new injury. That wouldn't be a repeat of what he had. Obviously, you don't want to be landing on your head at all. But not saying that a broken neck is a good thing, but the neck is not what he was on the shelf for 3 years. It was his head. It was, for example, if he did one of those stomps he does.
It was
to
years.
himself,
It was years.
that'd be a little
of-
worse.
a build up from being in the wrestling
Yeah.
business
Yeah.
and getting slammed on his head and having
yes.
countless concussions.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was just years of building up. It wasn't just like one match or
True.
2 matches.
Very
It
good
was
example.
years of building up, and then it just caught up to him, and which forced him to retire.
No,
couple years
100%.
ago.
Absolutely.
And I think also you could see he changed his moveset. That move he does where he kicks people in the
Yeah.
in the corner. He now uses the ropes so that he doesn't land on his neck and head.
More safer.
And he takes a more safer bump.
Yeah.
He has a more traditional bump instead of just going full straight up and landing on his head as he's trying to kick
absolutely.
somebody.
Yeah, no.
It's much more smarter.
brutal.
Yeah, much more smarter for Daniel Bryan to do it nowadays.
Yeah, so good for him. But I echo that too. That was one concerning part of that match is that Brock was just beating the hell out of
Yeah.
him. Right, and this is my most entertaining match
yeah.
too that I saw because of
I
this
don't
because of
know.
the story well, it's my match, Ryan. I can.
Okay, so
You can
you're
have
going,
your match in a second.
We're going to you.
Let me
Okay.
explain my entertaining match first. But I liked Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan because of the story they told in the ring, and that's old school, and it's not really what a lot of people necessarily like in the wrestling business, or at least what I get from like wrestling Twitter, is that they want to see people just kick each other in the face over and over again, like it's a UFC fight, and hit every move possible. Well, I'm a little bit more old school. I like a story to be told, and Daniel Bryan coming back from the dead in that match and literally almost making Brock Lesnar tap and hitting countless finisher moves on him was extremely entertaining. And me and my brother, we've always wanted to see somebody tap in the center of the ring. Back in the day, a lot of the big WrestleMania main events, people tapped. I can remember Triple H at WrestleMania 22 as an example of that. And so I just think that was such a cool thing. And then Lesnar winning was the better way. Well, Lesnar's better than Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan doesn't need to win a match like that when there's 5 days of promotion. If there's 3 months of build, Daniel Bryan
It was a
probably
last
wins.
minute thing
Yeah.
that they did with Daniel Bryan.
But it was a
and
great
Brock.
match for last minute, and I think it was entertaining for me because of the story. I like the story.
But I think it's confusing as well because you were building him up to be a heel, but yet at the end of the match, we were all cheering and rooting for Daniel Bryan. So if you're gonna turn him heel, don't you want to turn him heel after the whole Brock Lesnar
Yeah.
situation?
I think people. I think they didn't give any like us a choice to who should cheer because we all know what Brock's motto is. He goes in there, suplexes guys left and right, gives you like I don't know 1, 2, or 3 F5s, and then calls it a day because we've seen it before many countless times. And so for us fans, who's like a better who should we cheer for? Do we want to cheer for Brock? Do we want to cheer for Daniel Bryan? Then that's the next best thing, you know?
And also, I think with Daniel Bryan, he turned heel, but he turned heel in a matter of a second. It wasn't like the Dean Ambrose thing where
No,
he beats
that
up
was-
Rollins, DDTs him on the floor, or a lot of other. It was real quick, and he won the WWE Championship.
a low blow.
He
Yes,
stomped him
he
at the
stomped
end.
on AJ Styles, but it wasn't like a full. You were wondering, why did he do this? Why did he do this? AJ Styles has had some heel tendencies too, so that it wasn't out of the question that Daniel Bryan could just turn in the match. But everyone knew going in 5 days of build, we're still cheering for Daniel Bryan because nobody wants Brock to win against a guy like that, you know?
He's just, even if you build him as a face, Brock Lesnar, you can't really say he's the face because all he shows up once in a blue moon every now and then, and by that time he's doing just 10 moves and that's it. He's done.
Yeah.
His matches are nothing. So nobody's going to cheer for him. So that's why I was like, well, you turned him heel, but it doesn't make sense. And then we saw him again after SmackDown.
Well,
and
also,
he gave that explanation and he got heel heat. And he still got some heel heat at the show, but he got cheers at the end.
Also, by the way, you know, you're talking about a person turning heel on someone after a match. They already did that in the show, the match prior, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair turned heel at the end of a match. Because if you watch SmackDown, the SmackDown after in
this
Staples
was my
Center,
match. That was my match. That was
yeah,
my
Charlotte, okay,
so
I can see why.
I'll lead into your analysis. Charlotte, she turned heel. You don't beat up a face like that and you as a face. It just doesn't happen. Okay, and Charlotte beat the living hell out of Ronda Rousey, hit her in the head with a kendo stick, bruised up her body, unlike I've seen anybody ever get bruised up by a kendo stick. So
Those were some hard shots.
yeah, and then she
Those
kind of
welts.
she kind of kept up the heel tendencies on SmackDown the next day. She's not a super heel. She's not like Daniel Bryan who kind of went nuts. It seems like, and is mad that the fans didn't appreciate him or whatever that is. She's just saying, you know, Ronda Rousey's the big girl around here, and someone needed to kind of teach her a lesson, and it's all about SmackDown stuff like. So she's not full heel, but that was
she's turning more into a tweener. She's getting more of a. I think what we want to see now of our faces is we want to see more of that aggressive side. We want to be able to see that side that can get that competitive side that can actually go toe to toe with anybody. You know, usually nowadays the faces are goody two shoes. We all argue about how they're goody two shoes, and there's no
Balor,
real.
sorry.
Yeah.
I had
Finn
to
Balor.
cough. I had to cough.
Finn Balor sucks. Okay.
You were a fan favorite of Finn Balor. Now
Because his moves are like everybody else's.
He has nothing. He has no qualities about him that makes him the star of the company until he turns into the demon, and that only happens every now and then. So all it is a
only when he
supermodel.
needs to.
All it is a supermodel coming out, and he's like looking like a supermodel. Plus, that Finn Balor picture
This one?
Oh, the one that you sent us?
with him.
Oh, yeah.
and Seth Rollins.
A little Dwight Howard stuff going on right there. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
What's going on with Finn Balor? Okay. Anyway, getting back to
He's just screwing with you guys. That's what he's doing.
He's an artiste. Yeah, sure he is. But anyway, I think it's a situation with the Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey thing where that matchup was set up for WrestleMania, I think. And then because of the Becky Lynch situation, it was like, well, whatever, we'll just shoehorn her in. But still, there's still a high demand for the Charlotte Flair matchup. My only thing is this: where do we go from here? Number one, here's a couple things I learned from Survivor Series. Women's wrestling right now in the WWE is a hell of a lot better than the men's. I'm way more entertained by watching the women's wrestling matches than I am the majority of the time than the men.
But on Raw and SmackDown and NXT too.
Not NXT.
But
okay,
you're
but
telling me
saying-
when you watched Raw, you didn't at least think of or actually skip through a lot of those women's segments.
I did because those segments are garbage. I'm talking about.
But that's what you're saying. That the
I skipped through most
production
of
is
Raw. I skipped through most of Raw.
I'm just
And
saying.
I skip through a lot of SmackDown sometimes too if I feel like it's garbage. But
the main
SmackDown's-
event women are, I agree, putting on better shows than men. But everybody else, it's very pedestrian.
But that's because they're not letting them do it. They're putting them in crappy 6 to 8 women tag
they
team
need a
matches.
tag team title.
And it's not just for the women too; it's for the men too. The men are getting put in crappy tag team matches. We talked about this constantly.
Kind of like what we saw in the pre-show.
Oh God, that was by far the worst thing. The pre-show match was so unentertaining. Besides
The Survivor Series one? I thought it
besides
was
Chad
good.
Gable getting like,
We saw massive amounts of botches, by the way.
Oh yeah.
that first match, right?
Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
all throughout the show. We saw in that first match, we saw tons of botches. I was like, ooh.
That just shows how little faith they give to these wrestlers in the pre-show. I'm sorry.
No, I mean this, but I remember the days where it was Shield versus Usos in the pre-show, right? Those were some entertaining matches. Sometimes stole the whole show.
In the pre-show or in the second match. Like
Those were
lower
so good.
card.
And now they're ruining the bar
Yeah.
and the New Day and all that stuff. Just putting them in turkey matches, all that BS.
Let's not talk about the New Day anymore, man. I don't want to have any more conversations about that crappy tag team. I don't want to have any more crappy conversations, okay?
I love the New Day.
I just think they're just doing those dudes wrong for a lot of reasons. They're just doing them wrong.
Do you think they should be split?
Absolutely.
I think Big E needs to turn on. I remember I was calling this shit like 4 months ago.
We were calling
It
this
needs
at
to be turned.
WrestleMania. We were actually calling
Big
it at
E
WrestleMania
needs
when
to
I
turn.
think that's what Kenny Omega said. He said that these guys should be split. These are actually like my favorite guys. That Big E should be main event, and he said that Xavier's an awesome promo guy.
And Kofi's still a great
And
dude, too.
Kofi's a great
Kofi's
athlete.
awesome.
Yeah, so there's no need for them
So
to
let's
be.
just, let's stick to him and have Xavier
Yeah.
blow his horn.
And
Or,
Xavier-
or what they could do is Xavier can go up to the main event, and Kofi Big E can go up to the
Yeah.
main event, and Xavier and Kofi can be in the tag team division or do their own things separately.
Yeah.
What if you have something like this? What if like you have one of those random, battle royals to see who gets a title shot and stuff like that, and then somehow one of the New Day guys is in a WWE Championship match, right, with Daniel Bryan or whatever. That's where like Big E turns on
Maybe
them.
the Royal Rumble.
Right.
No, but we have too much. We have an obsession with heels right now in the WWE. Somebody's got to be a babyface.
True.
Like we have got.
Still got Seth Rollins though.
He's gonna turn heel before you know it. Crowd's gonna turn on him in a second. Too,
Not
with
right
his
now.
crappy
Not right now
promos.
with Dean Ambrose and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No. But so our favorite match it seemed like was Lesnar and Daniel Bryan.
Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, and also you can say Charlotte and Ronda. But
Wow, that matchup. By the way, I meant to talk about the Charlotte Flair Ronda Rousey thing. Like that matchup was so fast paced.
Very good. Very good match.
Very good. How they started it off with just basic mat skills wrestling, almost like amateur wrestling. Like how they
Yeah.
started it off, and it just continued to go. And they told a great story. And then I didn't even see Charlotte Flair pull out the kendo stick. So it timed it perfectly.
let's all be in agreement that we were all pissed on the classic 5-man Survivor Series match that Samoa Joe got eliminated
What?
immediately.
They
What
had
they
him
doing with
eliminated.
Samoa Joe,
Yeah, they had
man?
him eliminated after he almost eliminated Drew McIntyre, which would have been. I think having McIntyre eliminated during the match early like that in the very beginning would have told a better story in that match too, because they would have been like, that was our guy besides Strowman, and now he's gone. And it would because then Raw ended up just beating them like 3-1 or 4-1 or some stuff like that in that match. But
3-1.
yeah, so if you eliminate McIntyre, it's 2-on-1, which is a little more feasible. But then they made Raw look so good. Now Raw does have technically the better guys. You have a bunch of giants like Lashley and Strowman and Drew who would beat up guys like The Miz and Shane McMahon and Rey Mysterio. That makes logistically realistic sense,
Yeah.
right? But it just seemed like SmackDown got the job, especially in that match. The women's match made a lot more sense, but. I think we can talk about guys getting the job a lot for SmackDown. Now, Nakamura probably didn't need to beat Seth Rollins.
It's just ridiculous
But-
what they're doing to SmackDown, especially since the fact that they're moving
And
to
SmackDown's better, too.
Fox. They're the better brand, in my opinion. They put on the better shows, and they're moving to Fox. And on top of that, when we were talking to our homie Jeff Meacham, you can buy a ticket easily to SmackDown. Nobody goes to SmackDown. Nobody.
But maybe
goes.
that's why they don't. See, that's the problem. So us fans, we're not even like showing SmackDown respect. So the WWE's like, well, why should we? That's the problem.
No,
that
but
actually
they
proves it right there.
But
that
SmackDown got respect by getting $1 billion on Fox.
well, true, but if it was Raw, they would have got $2 billion. You know what I'm
But
saying?
Raw's 3 hours. SmackDown's 2.
Well, yeah.
So,
I'm just- I'm saying the fact that you even said that proves that is what WWE is looking at.
But
It's
what
all
the-
about the
but the
money, and they're seeing
WWE
SmackDown. People aren't going to SmackDown. They're not going to live events. So why are we going to promote it? Us hardcore fans like it, but
They just don't see it in
it's
their
in the
eyes.
money. It's in
the
the money. yeah.
WWE in their press release talking about SmackDown going to Fox was promoting it like it was the bigger brand. And on top of that, there's reports going all around. Fox wants SmackDown to be a big show. Fox doesn't want to cross promote with NBC Universal because Fox is competing with NBC Universal.
I mean, that's going to be amazing when they're actually
So
competing.
they actually want the brands to stay how it
Okay,
is.
so there's
They
a
don't want
thing.
to cross promote.
Here's the thing.
So you got to put stars on SmackDown.
It looks like Fox does a better job of promoting SmackDown. So WWE, screw SmackDown. Let's just give Fox, to them, and also Fox can just promote the living hell out of freaking SmackDown.
well, WWE will still own SmackDown.
they will
well, of
still
course,
own.
but who do they promote more? Raw.
Oh, well, yeah, I can see what he's saying.
They
now.
absolutely
Yeah.
do. But I think what needs to happen now with SmackDown moving forward is there needs to be an aggressive campaign to make it relevant, because you've absolutely buried the brand in Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And
Swept.
and it, regardless of all of us complaining about how crappy
6-1.
Raw is,
Yeah.
6-1.
6-1.
But they didn't even count the pre-show.
I know. What is this?
I know.
This just they're like, let's make that one. We screwed that booking up.
Forget
all
the
right,
pre-show.
6-0.
Forget the pre-show. But
Road Dog, you asshole.
He's just a
You know
road-
that's the guy behind the
He's just like
booking
a
for
road
Raw.
agent
he's,
for
No.
he's not the
Road Dogg
behind.
sucks.
It's Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I know that anything that Road Dogg's hands are on is the less. Is
I
the-
thought it was
when
Michael-
SmackDown
I-
stuff wasn't as good as Raw's.
Yeah.
Road Dogg was in front of charge of SmackDown. That just means
I
he's
thought Michael P.S. Hayes is the one in charge of SmackDown. Or is he still?
We don't look. Y'all keep wanting to say, "Oh, Road Dogg, Michael P.S. Hayes, Brian Gewirtz back in the day." All these people, all these random people we're bringing up, man. Vince McMahon is making the final decision. So you put the blame on Vincent Kennedy McMahon. This is like football. The head coach is making the decision. The quarterback's making the decision. You put the blame on them, Ron Rivera. Okay, so at the
Clay
end of the day,
Helton.
okay, so
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you got to put the blame on Vincent Kennedy McMahon for putting out a crappy project in the WWE right after things were so damn good. Things are so damn good with Survivor Series and them having to finagle everything up, and
know.
now it's just went right
I think
downhill
they
to
had,
wrestling's
I
dead
think they
period
had,
again.
I think they had plans to make SmackDown like win Survivor Series, but then, of course, a lot of last minute changes happen, and so they said, you know what, screw it, we're just gonna screw over SmackDown and let's have Raw win.
I'm
this
tired of SmackDown getting screwed over, bro. I am
Been
tired
screwed
of
over.
it.
They've been getting screwed over for like 20 years.
They've been getting
bro.
screwed over since I've been watching, man. They've been getting screwed.
Hey,
No,
first show I ever saw though was SmackDown. I didn't know Raw existed for like 2 months.
I didn't know.
Just saying.
I never could watch Raw because I didn't have cable TV back
Well,
in the day.
th-
So
well-
SmackDown was my show.
Well, ever since like Raw, like when Raw is one of the shows was closed, a guy like Undertaker or Rock would say like, "All right, I'll see you at SmackDown UPN," and I say, "Oh, sweet, UPN, I get to tune into that." And then thanks to that, that would help me
Shout out
watch
to
SmackDown.
UPN.
Shout out to UPN.
Yeah.
UPN.
I'll see
They had,
UPN
though.
SmackDown.
Oh, that's the good old days. The
Yeah.
CW and all that stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Sci-fi.
I was watching that on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. After they left Sci-Fi, it was kind of like it's been average.
Well,
since.
nobody they didn't care on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
they put
they
that
didn't care.
ECW product on Sci-Fi too. Okay,
Shout
but
out
so
to Kelly Kelly.
yeah, I almost just started singing their song, but I remembered I couldn't sing. Yeah. So other things that happened at this pay-per-view, real quick, because we do need to move on.
Yeah.
We had Drake Maverick pee in his pants.
By the Big Show.
And he peed yesterday on Bobby Roode's robe.
Exactly. Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali put on a pretty
that
solid
was a pretty
match.
good match.
They finally put them on
Yeah.
the main card.
Yes.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, I think they need to put them on every pay per view. At least
Main
the
card.
championship match or the best match, because it just
was
it just
entertaining.
needs to happen. And then so you had, of course, the Raw women won. Nia Jax getting a lot of heat, and she getting the final cover. Seth Rollins defeating Nakamura just clean. Team Raw, like I said, won, and then of course you had Rousey and Lesnar win, one by disqualification and one legitimate. So Survivor Series, just last thoughts real quick on Survivor Series, and I was entertained. I was not disappointed with the pay-per-view at all. And it's hard to be disappointed with a pay-per-view that's booked so last minute too.
That's a great point.
But I thought
I wasn't-
that the two matches, the two 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches were solid. I was not disappointed, and we were cheering for SmackDown, and a lot of other people were
the
cheering for
whole
SmackDown.
crowd was.
And the Nia Jax heat was a big thing. Rollins and Nakamura, slow build but a solid match. And then you had Rousey and the Rousey Charlotte Flair match with Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Daniel Bryan did not disappoint.